The visit of two cruise ships at Port Zante was most welcome during the off-season. It created a buzz of economic activity at the cruise port, but not every merchant was happy. SK Newsline became aware of the complaints of some merchants over a program instituted by the Ministry of Tourism, which some merchants said was interfering with visibility and access to their stores. According to one merchant, the placement of a tent and band equipment was substantially blocking the walkway into his store, while another complained about the smoke emanating from a nearby grill. However, the merchants were reluctant about being recorded. SK Newsline observed several vendors selling local foods and drinks in addition to the barbecue grill. Visitors were talking to vendors and awaiting service. The atmosphere generally was one of engagement, shopping, and some entertainment. On the way to the Ministry of Tourism, SK Newsline encountered Minister of Tourism Marsha Henderson, who was just returning from activities of a youth camp in her constituency. We asked her why there was the new activity taking place at Port Zante and to address the concerns of the merchants.
What we got from a number of when we do our meetings, and we try our best to bring stakeholders to these meetings as well so that they can hear this information firsthand. But it's also published in the BREA report, that's the BREA studies that's done every 2 years, I think every 2 years by the FCCA, which is the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. A number of our stakeholders and agencies here on island are members of FCCA. And their studies are usually informative, and they have said a number of the cruise ships have reported, and they study cruise, just cruise alone, and they've said a number of the cruise ships have complained that when they're in port, there's nothing much to do. And so if you look at the report for 2025 CO or 2024, right, so if you look at the report for 2024, it would show that the number of passengers, how long they stayed on port, and the time has reduced. So it was showing that the passengers were staying on the port shorter, and that what the passengers were looking for on the ports were an authentic, experience, local, authentic, and in our case, Kittitian experience. And so I think passengers were saying the maximum like 3 hours on port, and the cruise lines, our partners, were saying it's depleting their resources, because the shorter they stay on ports, it means that they stay on board longer. So they would eat lunch longer there, use all the resources there, when the intention is for them to, as we say here, venture deeper, experience our local culinary, our culture, our people, our history. That's the real objective.
Henderson said it is important to find a solution that works in the best interest of cruise tourism for St. Kitts.
We started these local explosions. We've consulted. When it happened at first, there was some issue with some of our partners as well, because we do have partners on Port Zante, and we consulted them, and we came up with a solution. But it seems to me, perhaps we haven't found the best solution. But every time we do the explosion, it's beneficial to the passengers. But some of our partners at Port Zante have said that, they've been affected. And every time we go back to the drawing board, we give them ample notice. We announce it. Like today, we have 2 major cruise ships in port, and we wanted something to happen on the port. So we will continue to work together. Those of us who are interested in working together, we will continue to work together. We will continue to do this in the best interest of the industry, the best interest of our visitors, best interest of our partners here at Port Zante as well. It's not by any means intended to sabotage anybody, but to push cruise. And all of this, I'm not making this up. This is facts. It's published online. The BREA report isn't even hidden. We've referred to it in a number of press conferences. And I mean, persons really, if you're interested in working in the industry, you should study the industry. The industry continues to evolve. People's needs continue to change. And so what a visitor wanted 10 years ago may not be what a visitor is looking for today. And so the constant studying is helpful. Sometimes it's helpful to read the reports, and we try to share it with our partners and stakeholders here. I don't know if it has resonated as yet, but we'll continue as the facilitators of the industry in the government. We'll continue our best to put the information out there so that the cruise ships can continue to come, because if we don't do initiatives like these, they will look at another port because it's not beneficial to them, the cruise lines. And so we need to make sure it's beneficial to the cruise lines and beneficial to our partners here at Port Zante, and we need to find a middle ground.
The Brea report provides a comprehensive breakdown on the various attributes impacting the cruise industry and its impact on the Caribbean cruise destinations. It is available online free of charge from the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.